Welcome to a year of eternal love. A Course in Miracles workbook for students, lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. No one really sees anything. He sees only his thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misconception about time, which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time and cannot understand, in fact, understand anything. The one wholly true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not there. To think about it at all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. The mind is actually blank when it does this, because it is not really thinking about anything. The purpose of the exercises for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank rather than believing that it is filled with real ideas is the first step to opening the way to vision. The exercises for today should be done with eyes closed. And this is because you cannot see anything. And it is easier to recognize that no matter how vividly you may picture a thought, you are not seeing anything. With a little investment as possible, search your mind for the usual minute or so, merely noting the thoughts you find there, and name each one by the central figure or theme that it contains, and then pass on to the next. Introduce the practice period by saying, I seem to be thinking about blank. And then put your word into that, whatever the thought of the past that you may be having. Then name each of your thoughts specifically. For example, I seem to be thinking about, name a person, about, name an object, about, name an emotion. And so on, concluding at the end of the mind searching period with, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This can be done 4 or 5 times during the day, unless you find it irritates you. If you find it trying, 3 or 4 times throughout the day is sufficient. You might find it helpful, however, to include your irritation or any emotion that the idea for today may induce in the mind searching itself. Now, for the insights, if you've been following with me since lesson 1, you've probably have never even heard of such a thing, that this seems bizarre, this breakdown process, the undoing process. And there's some ideas that you may even reject. But it doesn't matter. Stick with them. Do the exercises anyway. If you stayed with me so far, keep going. There is so much more awaiting you. It keeps progressing. And this undoing process, it does take a mind open, an open mind to this thought reversal. It takes a mind willing to recognize that it only sees thoughts projected outward and that all it's thinking within this world of separation is just a reflection of a blank mind. And it does take a willingness to step back and look at our thoughts again and again and again. Many people are not sitting down and thinking during their day. It's performing daily trivia, going to appointments, what are for meal times, lunch and dinner. I got a race to go to work for someone else. I'm on a schedule. And the days get away from us and we're trapped within these illusions of the past. It does take a willingness. And it's a willingness to see this tiny mad idea that we believe in this separation. But that we are stepping back. And if you're with me now, I'm assuming you started since lesson 1. That even if you don't understand some of the lessons, that you're doing the exercises anyways. These exercises are very important, vitally important. Is so that we can be awake to the truth of love's oneness. And this undoing process of letting go of the past is necessary before we can become aware of our real thoughts. And the Holy Spirit, it's always present to help us undo our false thinking. I myself, when I have something that is challenging me or it scares me, which I always know if something scares me is challenging me, is that it's for me, it's something good, but I don't want my ego mind and my fear to screw it up. So I want to, before I go into anything, I hand it over to the Holy Spirit. I hand it over, and I'll pray to God. And the Holy Spirit is always present to help us undo that false thinking. And it's a practice, this practice of looking at our thoughts with the Holy Spirit more consistently. And it helps us join with our constant companion and see everything differently. We have a choice, to see things differently. And as we do this practice, as we're doing the exercise, and we keep doing this again and again and again, we will not see as the rest of the world sees. We will see past bodies and become aware of love's oneness, which is always there. And we will see that love, only love, is real. We will remember all calls for love need only one thing, and that is our extension of love. These beginning lessons, step by step, are laying the foundation for forgiveness. And today's idea introduces the idea that the thoughts I've been aware of merely represent a blank mind. And if I accept this as true, the next logical step is to remember that all things I think happened did not occur. They were merely a blank mind deceiving itself through empty images. And if I accept that as true, that nothing has really happened, then the next logical step from that conclusion is that there is nothing to forgive. And the Course says true forgiveness simply recognizes that there is nothing to forgive. Stick with these. Do the exercises. The exercises today for lesson 8. To do it 4 to 5 times throughout the day. That my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts I seem to be thinking about. Do it with eyes closed for only a minute or so. If 4 or 5 times seem way too much, just do 3 or 4. We do not want strain. We want to be relaxed. Relaxation is a creative state when we're connected with divine. We have a lot ways to go. This is the first 8 lessons of this. This is the undoing process that we are 180 degrees backwards from the thinking of God. And the Holy Spirit is always there for us to guide us through that. I always want to keep each morning live very brief so that it's digestible. And I'll always leave the lesson of the day in the practice periods in the post. And I'll leave a copy of the official version of A Course in Miracles, which includes the workbook for students, so that you can really dive in. So you can begin to see through the illusions of separation and start seeing the vision of the now and the oneness of love. The now. I love you. May God bless you. This is a year of eternal love.